Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're exploring a story that our sources suggest is, well, it's not just breaking news, it's fundamentally reshaping the global landscape. We're talking about a massive and, frankly, surprising global shift. And it's centered on the African continent. Okay, let's unpack this. It's a radical new perspective on current global tensions, specifically how Africa is moving from, the sidelines right to the absolute center stage.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, according to diplomatic insiders within the African Union, is their assertion that, well, they're saying World War III has already started.
Wow, okay.
But hold on, don't picture traditional battlefields just yet. They really emphasize this isn't a conventional war.
Right.
Instead, the front lines are largely unseen. It's a battle fought with currency, with data, through surveillance, infrastructure development, propaganda, and critically, the control of global resources.
So our mission for this deep dive, for you listening, is to understand how Africa, a continent long viewed as non-aligned, is now making a pretty definitive choice, forging its own path. And the implications of that decision, as our sources reveal, they're truly monumental. We've gathered information from high-level sources known pseudonymously within AU circles as Chairman Shadow and Mama Pan Africa, alongside leaked AU communiques, internal memos, and various reports from Supreme Africa Breaking News.
Yeah.
So for decades, you saw Africa maintain this very careful stance, didn't you? Non-alignment, neutrality, especially during the Cold War.
Oh, absolutely. It really was this delicate balancing act, accepting Western aid while simultaneously welcoming Eastern investment.
Yeah, they seem to be navigating both worlds.
Well, navigating them to their own strategic benefit, really.
But that chapter, based on all the sources we've reviewed, seems definitively closed. We're now seeing a profound shift.
Right.
The African Union has quietly adopted a new continental foreign policy doctrine. It's formally titled Strategic Sovereignty Through Multipolar Alignment. Right. Strategic sovereignty through multipolar alignment.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean in plain English?
Well, if we were to translate that for you, it essentially means, look, we're not just staying neutral anymore. We're actively picking aside our own side and backing it with allies who genuinely respect our autonomy and our vision.
Their own side. Interesting.
Yeah, and this new alignment is clearly with the BRICS nations, with China, Russia, broader Global South coalitions, and there's this rapidly emerging Afro-Asian trade corridor, too.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, because this wasn't some sudden impulsive decision, was it?
Not at all.
Our insider briefings between AU foreign ministers and the One Africa Parliament, that's the continental legislative body, they reveal several key grievances, frustrations that really pushed Africa to this strategic turning point. Can you walk us through some of those core complaints? What came up in those high-level discussions?
Absolutely. What comes through very strongly in these documents is this sense of, accumulated resentment. Firstly, there was the repeated disrespect of what they term Afro-gold. Now, this isn't just physical gold bars.
Right.
It's a strategic term. It encompasses Africa's vast gold reserves and its ambition to leverage these resources, as the foundation for a new independent economic system, potentially bypassing the traditional Western-dominated financial structures.
And they felt that was being dismissed.
Completely. They felt Western financial institutions consistently undervalued or dismissed this potential. Then there was immense pressure, huge pressure, from the IMF and World Bank to cancel African state subsidies.
Which hits people directly.
Exactly. And it was seen not just as economic policy, but as a direct attack on Africa's ability to support its own citizens, its own industries. It felt like forcing them deeper into reliance.
Right. So it wasn't just about the money. It was about sovereignty over their own economies. What else was fueling this growing disillusionment?
Well, our sources also point to the consistent refusal by Western powers to support AU calls for permanent UN Security Council seats for African nations.
The representation age.
Precisely. This was perceived as a clear denial of Africa's rightful place on the global stage. Then there were also these persistent attempts to block the development of Afrinet, that's Africa's own independent satellite project.
Crucial for communication.
Absolutely. Crucial for secure communication, digital sovereignty. And adding further tension, new U.S. sanctions were imposed on African nations trading with Russia or Iran.
Which feels like dictating foreign policy.
That's exactly how it was interpreted. And finally, there was this palpable sense that the West was actively trying to contain BRICS by isolating its African members. That felt like a direct affront to Africa's right to choose its own economic partners.
Wow, that's quite a list of grievances. It points to a really systemic feeling of being undervalued, controlled even. It sounds like there's a significant emotional weight behind these policy discussions, too.
Yeah.
What about Mama Pan-Africa's reported statement? What does that tell us about the feeling in those closed-door meetings?
Oh, her statement truly captures the depth of that frustration, that perceived betrayal. Mama Pan-Africa, she's a key, very influential figure within AU circles.
Right.
She was reportedly very passionate in one of these closed-door meetings, stating, "They want Africa to stay poor, divided, and dependent. They call it peace, but we see the trap."
We see the trap. Powerful.
It really is. This isn't just about policy disagreement. It reflects this deep-seated feeling that Western actions weren't mere missteps, but maybe intentional strategies to keep the continent in a subordinate position. It speaks to a profound sense of historical grievance and a real determination to break free.
You can feel the weight of that. And this all seemed to culminate in a decisive moment, didn't it? This critical, classified emergency session. Lusaka, May 2025.
That was it, a pivotal moment.
What was the central question put to a vote there?
It was stark and clear. Should Africa formally align its military currency and digital strategies with the multipolar bloc BRICS plus CES?
So not just economics. Military, currency, digital. The whole package.
The whole package. A comprehensive commitment across critical national security and financial domains.
And the results. Frankly, they were surprising in their decisiveness. Our sources indicate 49 yes votes. Only 6 no votes.
And those no votes reportedly came under heavy U.S. and EU pressure.
Right. And 0 abstentions. It seems silence just wasn't an acceptable option anymore.
Exactly.
What did Chairman Shadow, another key AU insider, say in his leaked closing statement from that session?
Chairman Shadow's statement powerfully encapsulated the shift. He declared, "Africa will no longer serve as the world's battlefield. This time we lead."
This time we lead.
It's not just a political or diplomatic shift. It's a declaration of profound autonomy, a proactive assertion of Africa's agency on the global stage. It signals a move from being acted upon to acting decisively.
So this isn't just rhetoric then. This is a strategic roadmap taking shape. Our classified documents indicate the One Africa military strategy is already in motion. What's actually being established?
Okay, so the strategy outlines several concrete steps. They're establishing Afro Command, that's a new continental military intelligence unit, designed to centralize defense strategies across member states.
Okay, coordination.
Exactly. Joint training drills with Russia and China are already scheduled for Q3 2025. That's a very significant signal of their new alignment.
Very soon then.
Very soon. They're also creating Afro Cyber Force to counter digital surveillance and misinformation.
The digital front line.
Right. Deploying AfroSat military satellites for secure continental communication, that independent network is vital for their autonomy. And opening Pan-African weapons research hubs in Angola, Sudan, and Ethiopia. It's a very comprehensive buildup.
That's an ambitious military agenda. General Umoja, though, in an internal AU memo, apparently clarified the intent behind all this. What did he say? What's the purpose?
Yeah, General Umoja's words are key here. He stated, "It's not about aggression. It's about defending our future from everyone who thinks Africa is still weak."
Defending the future.
It highlights this fundamental shift towards strategic autonomy, aiming to ensure the continent can protect its newfound independence, its resources from any form of external pressure, military, economic, digital. It's about being prepared, not provoking.
Okay. So with such a clear statement of defensive intent, this strategic realignment, the big question becomes, how did the global powers react?
Big question indeed.
Our sources show 2 very different responses. On one side, the West, where our sources suggest it's moved from denial to what they describe as, well, outright panic. Supreme Africa Breaking News obtained a leaked U.S. Embassy briefing from Nairobi, title, "Containing Africa's Strategic Drift." What are the core fears outlined in that document?
That document is remarkably candid. It clearly outlines their fears. 1, Africa closing off to Western military partnerships. That significantly impacts global security strategy. 2, they're deeply concerned about Afro-gold destabilizing the petrodollar. The potential for a new gold-backed economic system is, a major worry.
Huge implication.
Huge. 3, the AU's independent satellite networks like Afronet. They're seen as potentially shutting down Western intelligence capabilities, creating a blind spot.
Losing eyes and ears.
Basically. And finally, there's a strong concern about African youth becoming digitally nationalistic, meaning they're increasingly aligning with Pan-African and Global South narratives online rather than Western ones.
And what's particularly striking from that leaked document is its stark conclusion, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. The conclusion signals a fundamental reevaluation of Africa's global standing within Western diplomatic circles. It says, Africa is no longer our development project. It's becoming a rival pole.
A rival pole. Wow. That captures the magnitude of the shift from their perspective.
It does.
Now contrast that. That perceived panic
Yeah.
with the response from BRICS leaders. How do they react to Africa's decisive move?
The BRICS response. It was one of immediate embrace collaboration. China, for instance, offered direct AFRINET integration support, satellite co-development, clearly recognizing the strategic importance of Africa's digital independence. Support, not obstruction.
Exactly. Russia offered military intelligence sharing and oil for Afro-gold deals, which is a powerful move away from dollar-denominated trade.
Big deal.
Yeah. India proposed a One Africa-India Youth Tech Exchange, fostering human capital links. Brazil pledged to back Africa's call for that permanent UN Security Council seat, directly addressing one of the key grievances.
Ticking the boxes.
Right. And South Africa, already a key BRICS member, called this nothing less than the rise of the sixth power bloc.
The sixth power bloc. And on a more personal level, our sources confirm Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping personally congratulated João Lourenço, reportedly calling him the voice of Africa's sovereignty. That's a huge diplomatic gesture, isn't it?
Absolutely huge. It underscores the high-level recognition of Africa's new strategic importance, the legitimacy that these major global powers are now affording its chosen path. It's a clear signal of solidarity. It's clear that this World War III, as these insiders describe it, is profoundly economic. And the rise of Afro-gold, that term for Africa's gold-backed economic ambition, it's sending shivers down the spine of established financial powers.
Definitely.
So how is the AU preparing for this economic front line? What are they doing?
They've created a dedicated task force. It's called AfroShield.
AfroShield. Yeah.
And its objectives are very clear, very strategic. Enforcing Afro-gold-only trade zones within the continent, rejecting dollar-based loans from what they deem hostile actors.
Defining their terms.
Yes, actively monitoring attempts to manipulate African currency markets, and partnering extensively with BRICS for gold-backed digital wallet technology.
Interesting.
There's a leaked quote from the AU Finance Council that succinctly puts their philosophy. We're not anti-dollar, we're anti-dependence.
Anti-dependence, that's powerful.
It is. This isn't about outright rejection of a currency, but about fundamental self-reliance. Complete control over their own economic destiny, reducing vulnerability to external leverage.
That's a clear statement of intent. And this alignment, it isn't just happening in government buildings or boardrooms, is it? It's rippling through society. Streets, studios, tech hubs.
Oh, it's truly a societal movement. You see it everywhere. In Accra, young musicians are releasing Afro-gold drill hip-hop.
Seriously. Afro-gold drill.
Yes, literally rapping about financial freedom, economic independence. In Lagos, developers are building apps for AfroPay. That's a new BRICS-backed mobile payment system. Allows transactions independent of traditional banking networks.
Bypassing the old systems.
Exactly. Students in Nairobi, they're actively protesting for the removal of colonial economics from their curriculum, demanding a more Afrocentric approach.
Rethinking education, too.
And in Johannesburg, youth coders just launched the beta of Afrope. It's a digital navigation app running on AU satellite data, directly leveraging Africa's own infrastructure.
Wow. So this isn't just a top-down policy shift. It's being driven, embraced by the younger generation, building the future from the ground up.
Precisely. What this demonstrates is that Africa's youth, they're not neutral. They are actively building this new world order, one line of code, one song, one protest at a time. Their engagement is this powerful organic force driving the continental shift. It's really transformative.
The sentiment across the continent, then, must be palpable. What are people actually saying on the ground about this new direction?
The quotes we've gathered, they reveal this mixture of pride, defiance, and just practical determination. An elder in Maputo reflected, during the Cold War, we were just pawns, now we're kings.
Pawns to kings.
Yeah. A student in Dar proclaimed, I choose AfroGold, AfroNet, AfroNews, I don't need CNN anymore.
Choosing their own information sources.
Exactly. A vendor in Lusaka passionately shared, if war is happening over control, then I want to be on the side of freedom. And a taxi driver in Kigali put it simply but powerfully, let them fight. Africa will feed itself. These are voices of people ready to define their own future.
It sounds like there's a unique, defiant spirit to this resistance, almost a comedy in the war room, as our sources put it. Can you elaborate on that particular style?
Yes, there's a distinct swagger to it. Diplomats are now openly using the phrase Afro-neutral is dead, we're Afri-bold now.
Afri-bold, I like that.
Right, it showcases this new assertive confidence. There's a viral meme circulating, depicts NATO generals asking, "Where is Africa?" And the reply is offline on Afronet.
A playful jab.
Exactly, a jab at Western intelligence. And in Uganda, there's a T-shirt brand trending with the slogan, "I survived 3 world wars because Africa finally said no."
That's brilliant.
These examples highlight a confident, even humorous embrace of their new independent position. It's a very African way of resisting and asserting autonomy.
So with all this momentum, these strategic shifts, what comes next? Supreme Africa Breaking News obtained the AU's confidential 5-point roadmap titled One Africa, One Alignment, One Digital Sovereignty. Can you outline those key points for us?
Sure. This roadmap is very ambitious, very concrete. Point 1. Expand Afronet, that secure digital network, to 100% of all AU nations by mid-2026.
Full coverage.
Full coverage. 2. Transition 60% of AU trade to Afro-gold and other BRICS currencies. A significant move away from the dollar.
60%, that's huge.
It is. 3. Launch AFNE News Global. That's an official AU-backed international media outlet, creating their own narrative in the global information space.
Countering the narrative.
Precisely. 4. Phase out Afric influence, referring to external military influence, and deploy One Africa defense regions for coordinated security.
Boosting internal security coordination.
Right. And finally, point 5. Lobby aggressively for AU bloc veto power and broader Global South UN reform.
Reshaping global governance. Mama Pan Africa offered a cute clarification on this roadmap, though. What did she say was the ultimate goal?
Yeah, her clarification is crucial. Mama Pan Africa stated, this is not about choosing war, this is about choosing Africa.
Choosing Africa.
So this roadmap, therefore, isn't about aggression. It's about asserting self-determination, reshaping global power dynamics to ensure Africa's agency, and securing its position as a leading force, not just a recipient or a battleground.
What we've discussed today, it highlights the truly unprecedented nature of Africa's current stance. Whether you agree with the phrasing or not, our sources clearly suggest that World War III isn't just a concept, it's here. And it's being fought on these new battlefields. Code versus code, gold versus debt, truth versus spin.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Well, it means Africa is no longer a spectator, no longer just a battleground in global conflicts.
Right.
It has decisively chosen to be a player, a force, a side. They've opted for self-reliance over silence, for Afro-gold over old chains, for Afronet over filtered feeds, and for, well, One Africa aligned with BRICS. This truly is a historical turning point, redefining power in the 21st century.
Indeed. History may not remember Africa as victims in global conflicts, but perhaps as the architects of a new world order. As you process all this, maybe consider what other regions, perhaps inspired by Africa's bold move, might soon follow this path of strategic sovereignty. Something to think about.